Most people spend their whole lives defending themselves from a world they believe is attacking them, fighting opinions, chasing validation, proving their worth to strangers who are too distracted to even notice. But what if the world was never attacking you at all? What if it was only mirroring your own reactions, amplifying the storms you carry within? Every time you react in anger, fear, or desperation, you feed the very chaos you wish would leave you alone. The truth is uncomfortable but liberating. The world doesn't feed on your peace, it feeds on your reaction. The more emotional you are, the easier you are to control. The louder you argue with noise, the more power that noise gains over you. The more you try to change others, the more they pull you into their orbit. The game was never to win against life's chaos. It was to become untouchable within it. And that's what Buddhism has quietly taught for over 2,000 years. That freedom isn't found by escaping the storm, but by mastering your response to it. Calmness is not coldness. Detachment is not apathy. It's remembering that your peace is not a prize someone else gives you. It's a power that no one can take away once you see where it truly lives. So before you step into the noise of the world again, pause. Watch how easily it tries to pull you. Notice how often it demands a reaction. And then, choose silence, awareness, and restraint. Because the moment you stop feeding the chaos with your energy, the world loses its power over you, and you finally remember what peace actually feels like. Lesson 1. Compassion needs boundaries. There's a quiet exhaustion that lives inside kind people. It's not because they don't love enough, it's because they love without limits. They keep giving, fixing, listening, and healing, until one day they wake up drained, wondering why the same kindness that once felt sacred now feels heavy. Buddhism teaches that compassion is never meant to hurt. True compassion flows with wisdom, not guilt, not fear, and not the desperate need to be seen as good. Because compassion without clarity doesn't heal the world. It empties you. It turns your light into a resource for others to consume rather than a flame that guides both them and you. You can love people deeply and still say no. You can forgive someone and still choose distance. You can care and still walk away when the connection begins to cost your peace. Because love that destroys your balance is not love. It's attachment disguised as virtue. Think of your compassion like a candle in the night. Its glow can warm anyone who comes near. But if you never guard the flame, the wind will take it. And once it's gone, darkness wins. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's sacred maintenance. You can't light anyone's path if you've burned yourself out trying to keep everyone else warm. We often confuse people-pleasing for kindness. We say yes when we mean no. We allow disrespect because we fear being seen as cold. But there is no virtue in allowing yourself to be drained. A heart that always bends eventually breaks. A soul that always yields eventually fades. The Buddha's way is balance, karuna, compassion, held in harmony with prajna, wisdom. One without the other leads to imbalance. Wisdom without compassion becomes arrogance. Compassion without wisdom becomes suffering. But when both walk together, peace endures. So before you rush to help, pause and ask gently, am I helping from love or from fear? Am I giving from fullness or from emptiness? If your peace is the price, the act is no longer pure. It's a transaction with your own exhaustion. Remember this truth. You don't owe everyone access to your energy just because you have a kind heart. Boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges that keep relationships healthy on both sides. You can still wish someone well while choosing not to join them in their chaos. Protect your light because it's sacred. Let your compassion guide, not consume. Because a candle that never guards its flame cannot light the night for long. Lesson 2. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Every person has emotional buttons, quiet, invisible switches that, when pressed, can change how they think, act, and even live. Some people discover your buttons and learn how to control you with them. They know which words will make you angry, which silences will make you insecure, and which comparisons will make you doubt yourself. And the truth is, as long as someone else can provoke your emotions, they can steer your entire life. Buddhism teaches that emotions themselves aren't the enemy. It's our unconscious obedience to them that causes suffering. The goal isn't to suppress what you feel, it's to notice it without becoming it. Anger, jealousy, fear, and desire are simply visitors. They come with messages, not commands. Awareness means you can watch them enter, listen to what they're trying to say, and let them leave without giving them the keys to your mind. Think of emotion like weather. A storm may roll in, loud, dark, and uncontrollable, but you are not the storm. You are the sky holding it. The clouds may thunder, but the sky never loses itself in the chaos. You can feel anger without lashing out. You can feel sadness without collapsing into it. You can feel fear without running away. Every emotion that rises also fades. The only question is whether you can stay still long enough to see it pass. In modern life, emotional reactivity has become a kind of addiction. Social media, politics, even relationships, everything is designed to provoke. Outrage is currency, attention is the reward. And the calmer you are, the less easily you can be controlled. Calmness isn't indifference, it's intelligence. It's a quiet form of mastery that refuses to be manipulated by noise. The one who can observe emotion without being ruled by it becomes untouchable. So, the next time emotion surges, practice this simple truth. Pause. Breathe once. Observe before you respond. Don't fight the feeling, just witness it. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me right now? Maybe it's showing you an old wound that needs healing. Maybe it's revealing how attached you are to being right. Whatever it is, honor it, then let it pass like rain leaving clean air behind. Emotional mastery isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming wise. When you stop letting every feeling drive your decisions, you move from chaos to clarity. You start choosing responses instead of reactions. You begin to notice that peace isn't found when emotions disappear. It's found when they no longer dominate your choices. Remember, emotions are messengers, not masters. They knock to deliver awareness, not to take control. Feel them, listen to them, learn from them, and then let them go. Because when you no longer obey every emotion that visits you, you don't just find peace, you find freedom. Lesson 3. Strength is soft, not loud. The world often mistakes volume for power. We're taught to raise our voice to prove our strength, to fight back to show we're brave, to keep walls high so no one can hurt us. But the strongest souls aren't the ones who shout the loudest. They're the ones who remain calm when the world tries to shake them. Real strength isn't about how forcefully you can speak. It's about how peacefully you can stand when everything around you is falling apart. Buddhism calls this balance compassionate firmness, the art of being soft in heart but steady in spine. It's the understanding that kindness without self-respect isn't virtue, it's self-abandonment. Too many people mistake being gentle for being weak, but that's a misunderstanding of true power. Kindness is powerful only when it's rooted in awareness. When you say yes from fear, your kindness becomes a cage. But when you say yes from peace, your kindness becomes freedom, for both you and others. Passive kindness invites harm. It teaches others that your silence is permission and your tolerance is endless. But mindful kindness uplifts. It draws clear lines that protect both your spirit and your relationships. It's the difference between being a doormat and being a doorway. One gets walked over, the other invites only those ready to enter with respect. True strength doesn't require hardness, it requires presence. It's the ability to stay gentle without being naive, to care deeply without losing yourself, to speak softly but mean every word. Strength is not in domination, it's in restraint. It's in the pause between feeling and reaction. It's in the quiet no that honors your truth more than 1,000 loud explanations ever could. Think of bamboo in a storm. It bends with the wind, but never breaks. It moves with the chaos, but always returns to its center. That's what true resilience looks like. Not resistance, but flexibility. The bamboo doesn't fight the storm. It understands that both the wind and the stillness are part of nature. You too can be firm without being rigid, peaceful without being passive. When your heart stays soft but your boundaries stay strong, you become unshakable. You stop needing to prove your worth through anger or pride. You stop giving your power away to anyone loud enough to challenge your peace. Your presence itself becomes strength, quiet, steady, undeniable. So remember this: you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be harsh to be respected. You don't have to fight every battle to win your freedom. True strength is silent, like a mountain that doesn't argue with the wind, or bamboo that bends but never breaks. Because when your heart stays open and your spine stays straight, no storm can uproot you. You become what the world cannot shake, soft enough to feel, wise enough to stay, and strong enough to rise again and again in peace. Lesson 4. Not everyone celebrates your light. The moment you begin to grow, something subtle shifts around you. The air feels different. Some smiles change shape. The same people who once cheered your healing now look at you with quiet discomfort. They won't say it out loud, but your peace unsettles them. Because jealousy isn't always loud or obvious. It's often a silent shadow cast by someone else's stillness. Buddhism teaches us that envy is suffering in disguise. It's the pain of seeing someone else move forward when you feel stuck. When you rise, your light doesn't just illuminate the room, it also exposes the insecurities hiding in others. Some will admire your glow, others will resent it. But neither reaction defines you. Their reaction simply reveals where they are on their own path. You cannot control how people feel about your growth, but you can control how you protect it. Guard your peace the way a monk guards his morning silence, not with fear, but with awareness. Not everyone deserves access to your transformation. Not every ear deserves your dreams, and not every heart can celebrate your rising. Some people will use your vulnerability as gossip. Others will pretend to support you while secretly comparing themselves to you. It's not cruelty, it's unconsciousness. But you must recognize it before it drains you. Move quietly. Let your results speak in the language of peace. You don't have to announce your healing or justify your progress. A tree doesn't explain how it grew taller. It simply grows, and the forest adjusts. When your roots deepen, you no longer need to prove how strong you've become. Silence becomes your protection. Presence becomes your power. Jealousy loses its grip when you stop performing for it. The more you explain, the more you invite misunderstanding. The more you share, the more you expose sacred spaces that not everyone knows how to handle. So hold some parts of your journey close to your chest, not out of secrecy, but out of wisdom. Privacy is peace, and sometimes solitude is the price of self-respect. Your growth will test others long before it rewards you. Some will drift away, not because you've changed, but because you've stopped staying small to make them comfortable. Let them. The ones meant to walk with you will never fear your light. They'll rise with you. So move in silence. Let your evolution unfold quietly, naturally, without seeking applause. The world may not notice, but the universe will. Because light never needs validation. It only needs space to shine. And the brighter you become, the less you'll need to prove that you're glowing. Lesson 5. Selective access is self-respect. Your time, your attention, your presence. These are not ordinary things. They are sacred forms of energy. Every conversation, every glance, every connection is an exchange of life force. Yet most people spend this energy carelessly, giving it to people who don't value it, to situations that drain it, and to environments that slowly dull the mind. Buddhism reminds us that energy follows attention. Wherever your awareness goes, your life grows. That's why it matters who you let close. Every person you invite into your space shapes your inner weather. Some bring calm breezes that soothe the spirit. Others arrive like storms that never stop raining. And if you're not mindful, you'll spend your days cleaning up the emotional mess that isn't even yours. Protect your presence like a temple. Not everyone deserves to walk through its doors. A temple isn't open at all hours to every passerby. It invites those who come with respect, stillness, and intention. The same must be true for your inner world. Few may enter, and all must remove their shoes, their judgment, their gossip, their chaos, before stepping into your peace. That isn't arrogance, it's self-awareness. This is not isolation, it's mindful inclusion. It means recognizing that your peace is a living thing that must be tended to, not traded away. You are not rejecting people. You are choosing alignment. You are not cutting others off. You are deciding who can meet you in the quiet space where your growth is happening. Some will understand and rise with you. Others will fall away. And that's okay. There comes a moment when you realize that protecting your energy is not about building walls, but about setting filters. It's choosing depth over noise, sincerity over popularity, and presence over performance. You start noticing how certain conversations leave you feeling heavy, while others make your chest expand. You begin to sense who drains you and who grounds you. This awareness is the beginning of emotional maturity. When you honor your space, life honors you back. Your mind becomes clearer. Your intuition sharpens. Your relationships become fewer but richer. You stop chasing attention and start cultivating connection. You stop trying to be everywhere and start being fully here. So, choose carefully who sits at your table. Let your silence be the doorway that only peace can enter through. Because self-respect isn't loud. It's quiet, calm, and deeply selective. It's knowing that your presence is precious and refusing to spend it where it isn't valued. Remember, your peace is not for public access. It's a sacred garden that blooms only when tended with care. Protect it, nurture it, and let only those who come with gentle hands walk among its flowers. Lesson 6. Comfort is the disguise of stagnation. We often mistake comfort for peace. We tell ourselves that if nothing is wrong, everything must be right. But comfort is not peace. It's the slowing of the soul. It's a soft trap, disguised as safety, that quietly dulls your spirit while convincing you that you've arrived. And in that stillness, growth withers. Buddhism teaches the middle way. Not a life of constant struggle, but not one of endless ease either. Awareness doesn't grow where everything feels familiar. It grows in the small discomfort of honesty, in the courage to leave what's convenient, in the willingness to question the patterns that make you feel safe but keep you small. The lotus doesn't bloom in calm, clear water. It rises from the mud. Comfort whispers, "You're fine here." But peace asks, "Is this calmness? Or have you just stopped growing?" They sound similar, yet they are worlds apart. Calmness comes from acceptance. Stagnation comes from avoidance. The difference lies in intention. Are you resting to restore your strength? Or are you hiding from the stretch that your next version of life requires? Think of a pond left untouched. The water grows still, but soon algae covers its surface, and life beneath begins to suffocate. Still water looks peaceful, but it's quietly dying. Flowing water, on the other hand, stays alive. It moves, it adapts, it stays clear because it refuses to remain the same. The same is true for you. Movement keeps you awake to life. Flow keeps you alive to possibility. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your awakening. Every challenge, every change, every unfamiliar path is life's invitation to expand your awareness. Growth doesn't shout, it nudges. It whispers, "Try something new. Let this end. Trust this step." It's not asking you to suffer, it's asking you to evolve. The danger of comfort is subtle. It convinces you that peace means nothing changing. But true peace is not found in sameness. It's found in flow. It's knowing that you can be calm while evolving. that you can be grounded while moving forward. The Buddha called this the middle way, the balance between stillness and motion, between rest and rise. So the next time life pushes you towards something uncertain, don't rush back to what feels easy. Ask yourself honestly, am I truly at peace, or have I just stopped growing? Because the soul doesn't crave safety, it craves aliveness. Stay like the river, calm, yet always moving. Flow through life with awareness. Let go of the need for control, but don't confuse stillness with stagnation. You are not here to stay comfortable, you are here to stay awake. And remember, still water grows algae, but flowing water stays alive. Lesson 7. Rejection is redirection. Rejection has a way of cutting deeper than almost anything else. It doesn't just bruise your feelings, it challenges your identity. Whether it's someone you loved walking away, an opportunity slipping through your fingers, or silence where you hoped for recognition, rejection whispers the same cruel lie. You're not enough. But what if that whisper was never telling the truth? What if every no you've ever received was really life saying, not here, not yet, not this way? Buddhism teaches that pain is not punishment, it's redirection. The path is not cruel, it's corrective. When something leaves your life, it's not a failure, it's guidance. The mind believes rejection means loss, but the deeper truth is that rejection is protection. It's life closing the wrong door, so you'll stop begging at it, and finally notice the open one waiting down the hall. Every no reveals an unseen yes. Every ending clears the space for a beginning you couldn't imagine while clinging to what was. Rejection strips away illusion and forces authenticity. It removes the masks we wear to belong and asks the hardest question of all. Can I love myself when nothing outside does? Most can't, at least not at first. But that's the moment true growth begins. Because self-worth built on approval is fragile. Self-worth built on endurance is unbreakable. The pain of rejection exposes attachment, the way we tie our peace to people, outcomes, and validation. We think we're hurt because of what left us, but we're really hurt because of what we believed it meant. We made someone else's acceptance the mirror of our value. Buddhism calls this clinging, the root of all suffering. The lesson isn't to stop caring, it's to stop depending. When you stop seeing rejection as a verdict and start seeing it as a teacher, something shifts. You begin to understand that every loss is guiding you closer to alignment. The job that didn't choose you, the person who didn't stay, the plan that collapsed, all of them carved space for something more fitting to find you. The path may change shape, but the destination, your awakening, never disappears. There's a kind of strength that only rejection can teach. It's the strength of walking forward without applause, of standing tall when the world turns away. It's quiet, humble, and powerful. The strength of knowing that your worth doesn't fluctuate with other people's recognition. Like the mountain, you remain unmoved, even when the clouds pass and the sun forgets to shine. So when life tells you no, pause before despair. That no might be saving you from smaller versions of yourself. It might be clearing the noise so you can finally hear your own voice. Pain is not the enemy. Attachment is. When you learn to let go, rejection transforms into redirection, and the very thing that hurt you becomes the reason you found your path. Remember this: rejection doesn't define your value. It reveals your alignment. What isn't meant for you cannot stay, and what's truly yours cannot miss you. So keep your heart open even when doors close, because sometimes life says no, not to break you, but to guide you home. Lesson 8. The Trap of Approval. From the moment we're old enough to be seen, we begin performing. We smile when praised, shrink when criticized, and slowly learn that love seems to come with conditions. Somewhere along the way, we start confusing applause with acceptance, and without even noticing, we begin to trade our authenticity for approval. Buddhism teaches that craving is the root of suffering, and one of the deepest cravings is the need to be liked. Approval is an addiction disguised as belonging. It feels harmless at first, the compliment that makes you feel seen, the validation that quiets your doubt, the nod of agreement that says, "You're doing well." But soon, it becomes a cycle. The more you depend on being seen, the less you see yourself. You start adjusting your tone, your truth, even your dreams, just to keep the applause going. The danger of approval is subtle. It doesn't demand your soul all at once. It takes it in pieces. You begin to measure your worth by reactions. The likes, the comments, the smiles, the silence. You censor your truth because you're afraid of rejection. You choose belonging over integrity. You play roles just to stay accepted. But the more you perform for others, the more you disappear from yourself. You forget the sound of your own inner voice because the world's noise is louder. The Buddha called this imbalance, living at the extremes of ego and emptiness. One moment, you feel high from being seen. The next, you crash when attention fades. The middle path teaches a different way: gratitude for praise, freedom from needing it. You can appreciate kind words without being enslaved by them. You can listen to feedback without letting it rewrite who you are. True peace isn't found in being liked. It's found in being real. When you live in alignment with your soul, you stop seeking permission to exist. You speak what feels true, even if it trembles. You act from integrity, not image. You walk your path quietly, knowing that validation is optional, but authenticity is essential. You no longer need to prove yourself because you finally remember that you are already enough. Think of your identity like a mask. Each time you perform for approval, you add another layer, smiling when you want to scream, agreeing when you want to walk away. But masks get heavy. They suffocate the spirit. And one day, when you're tired enough of pretending, you'll take it off. That moment, the one where you stop performing, is when you finally meet yourself again. So the next time you catch yourself chasing validation, pause and ask, whose approval am I really seeking? Theirs or my own? Because the truth is, the world's applause will fade, but your soul's voice never stops calling. Listen to it. Follow it. Speak from it. When you stop performing, you remember who's beneath the mask. And that person, quiet, honest, unfiltered, is the only one you were ever meant to be. Lesson 9. Silence is strength, not withdrawal. In a world that rewards loudness, silence has become misunderstood. People assume that the one who stays quiet has nothing to say, when in truth, they've simply learned that not everything deserves a reaction. The loudest person in the room often hides the most noise inside. Their words are armor for insecurity, their volume a veil for fear. But silence is something different. Silence is the mark of mastery. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means control. It's the ability to sit in a storm without letting it pull you in. It's the strength to witness chaos and choose stillness over noise. When you stop reacting to every opinion, every provocation, every injustice of ego, you don't become passive. You become powerful. Because the one who controls their reaction controls the entire exchange. Stillness confuses the manipulator. When you don't take the bait, their power dissolves. They can't predict you, can't provoke you, can't feed on your energy. You become unreadable, and unreadable people are untouchable. Silence nourishes the observer. It gives you space to see what others miss: the subtleties behind words, the motives behind actions, the truth behind appearances. When you are silent, you don't stop communicating. You start communicating on a deeper frequency. In silence, intuition sharpens and truth becomes audible. The world around you may scream for attention, but within that quiet space, you start hearing something far more important: your own wisdom. You begin to notice what is real, what is ego, and what no longer deserves your peace. Silence doesn't distance you from life. It connects you to it in a way noise never can. So, the next time anger rises or pride tempts you to prove a point, pause. Before reacting, return to your breath. Let silence speak where words would only wound. Because silence doesn't need to win an argument, it ends it. It doesn't defend truth, it reveals it. Silence is not weakness. It's wisdom disguised as restraint. It's the decision to stay rooted while others chase wind. The Buddha taught that true power is not in conquering others, but in conquering yourself. And the one who can remain silent when provoked has already won that battle. So speak when words can heal, and stay silent when words would only add to the noise. Not every fire needs your breath. Not every conflict deserves your presence. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Because silence is not withdrawal, it's arrival. Arrival into awareness. Arrival into peace. Arrival into the quiet, knowing that you don't need to prove your truth, you only need to live it. Lesson 10. Detachment. Loving without owning. Most people fear letting go because they mistake it for loss. They believe that to hold on is to love, and to release is to give up. But the truth is far gentler and far wiser. Detachment isn't about turning cold or becoming indifferent. It's about discovering a freedom so warm and steady that love finally has room to breathe. Everything in your life is borrowed: the people you meet, the moments you live, the successes you celebrate, even the body you inhabit. They are all gifts on loan from time. Everything borrowed will one day return, and that's not tragedy, that's life's most sacred law. When you understand this, you stop clinging. You stop begging life to stay still. You learn to hold everything, every joy, every person, every sunrise with an open hand instead of a closed fist. Buddhism teaches that suffering begins where attachment hardens. The more tightly we hold, the more it hurts when life asks us to release. We grip relationships out of fear, dreams out of pride, and possessions out of insecurity. And when they inevitably shift or end, we fall apart not because they left, but because we never learned how to love them without trying to own them. Imagine holding sand in your palm. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But when you hold it gently, it rests peacefully. Life works the same way. To love something is not to control it, it's to appreciate its presence while knowing it may not always stay. The heart that can let go fully is the heart that can love deeply, because it loves without fear. It knows that what comes is a teacher, and what goes has completed its lesson. Detachment is often misunderstood as apathy, but detachment is not about withdrawing from love. It's about removing the chains from love. It's loving without needing to possess. It's caring deeply without collapsing when change arrives. Detachment is emotional clarity, the ability to see life as it is, not as your ego wants it to be. The Buddha called this upekkha equanimity, the balance of the heart. It's the space where you can feel everything without drowning in it. You can hold joy and sorrow, gain and loss, praise and blame all in the same steady breath. You no longer swing between extremes because you've realized that everything is impermanent and nothing needs to be permanent to be beautiful. In truth, detachment is the highest form of intimacy. When you stop trying to cage life, you start to experience it. You notice details you once overlooked: the sound of laughter before it fades, the warmth of sunlight before dusk, the depth in someone's eyes before they look away. You learn to be present with what is, instead of obsessed with what might leave. The practice of detachment begins small. It's in not checking your phone the moment you wake up. It's in pausing before reacting to disappointment. It's in blessing what's leaving instead of resenting it. Each time you choose release over resistance, you strengthen the quiet muscles of freedom. You start realizing that peace isn't found in holding tighter, it's found in letting go softer. This doesn't mean you stop caring. You will still love, still grieve, still miss, still hope, but from a place of awareness, not desperation. The difference is subtle, but powerful. Attachment says, I need you to be happy. Detachment says, I want your happiness, even if it's not with me. One clings, the other liberates. One fears loss, the other understands that nothing real can be lost. When you live with detachment, you stop fighting the tides of impermanence. You begin to see change not as an enemy, but as movement, the natural rhythm of existence. Everything that arrives is a visitor. Everything that leaves creates space for something new. This is not a cruel truth, it's a compassionate one. Because when you stop demanding permanence from a temporary world, suffering dissolves. Think about the moments that have already passed, friendships that faded, places you once called home, dreams that no longer fit. None of them were wasted. They shaped you, stretched you, prepared you. And though they're gone, their lessons remain, quietly woven into who you are now. Letting go doesn't erase love. It purifies it. It takes love out of the realm of possession and places it back into gratitude. So, ask yourself, what are you gripping today that's asking to be held more gently? A person, a plan, a version of yourself that no longer exists. The tighter you cling, the more it slips. But the moment you open your hand, you remember that what's meant for you was never yours to lose, only yours to experience. To detach is to trust life. It's to believe that every ending carries the seed of a beginning, that every loss makes space for renewal. It's knowing that love doesn't die when it's released, it transforms. It flows back into the universe, recycled into new moments, new connections, new forms of beauty. So, hold life like sand in your palm gently, or it will slip through your grasp. Love fiercely but freely. Give fully but without ownership. Appreciate deeply but without demand. Because when you stop trying to own life, you finally start living it. And in that moment when your hands are open, your heart unbound, and your spirit at ease, you will understand the quiet truth Buddhism has whispered for centuries. Detachment is not the absence of love. It's the presence of peace within it. Closing reflection. The quiet power of non-reaction. True peace doesn't come when nothing moves you. It comes when movement no longer disturbs you. You will still feel, still love, still care, but no storm will reach your center. Life will continue to shift around you. People will misunderstand. Seasons will change. Noise will rise and fall. But within you, there will be a stillness untouched by circumstance, a quiet knowing that calm is not the absence of chaos, but the mastery of response. You don't have to silence every storm. You just have to stop feeding it with your energy. The world will always try to provoke you through noise, conflict, and illusion. But when you refuse to react, when you stay anchored in awareness, the noise loses its power. What once triggered you becomes a mirror of how much you've grown. What once drained you now teaches you where your peace truly lives. Heal quietly. Let the noise fade. Not everyone deserves to witness your transformation. Some people thrive on the version of you that still explains, still pleads, still reacts. Let them. You no longer owe them access to your evolution. Growth doesn't need to be announced, it needs to be lived. The strongest transformations are silent. They unfold like dawn, unnoticed until the light fills the whole sky. Walk lightly, breathe deeply, speak only when your words add calm, not confusion. Choose peace not as a performance, but as a posture, a way of being. Let stillness become your rebellion in a world addicted to noise. Let your silence become your power in a world that mistakes reaction for strength. And when the world tries to provoke you, smile, not out of pride, but out of understanding, because you now know they no longer have access to your peace. You are no longer moved by every wave because you've become the ocean that holds them all. This is the quiet power of non-reaction, not withdrawal, but awareness, not weakness, but wisdom. The moment you stop chasing validation, fighting noise, or explaining your calm, life begins to flow differently. You stop trying to control the tide and start moving with it. And in that surrender, you discover what the Buddha meant all along, that peace is not something you find. It's what remains when you stop losing yourself to everything that doesn't matter. So let the noise pass. Let the world spin. You've earned your stillness. And in that silence, listen. It's your soul whispering you are finally home.